Hello my beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're in this armchair in this little setup and I think it looks very cute. Very official, it's very one-on-one and it's perfect for this video because we're gonna get serious. I am about to answer all of your guys' questions that you asked me on my Instagram. I set up like a little question box and said you can ask me anything you want, and today I'm going to be going through them and answering all of your questions. Please make sure to subscribe if you're not already, turn on post notifications, like the video and comment down below. Alright, let's get straight into the video. I'm gonna start off, let me just get my laptop here because it has all of the questions on it, but I'm gonna start off with just a few basic things about myself. And I've kind of been doing quite a few videos recently on YouTube, and I don't want to say I'm taking it more seriously because I do actually have a job as a ballet dancer, and obviously that is my main job and I never want to take away from that. Doing YouTube and making videos is just for fun and kind of a hobby of mine. However, I have been doing it a lot more recently, and where was I going with this? Oh yes, I feel like if you're new to the channel, this is kind of a perfect video to get to know me, just hear a little bit about me and just know who I am. Who is Kayla? Starting with the basic questions. What is my name? My name is Kayla and we're just gonna go with that. And my age, I am 19, just turned not too long ago. I am 164 centimeters tall, 164.5. I always like to say I'm 165, but I did measure myself the other day and I am in fact 164, possibly 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, but I'm gonna say 164 for now. What is my job or occupation? I am a professional ballet dancer, which still feels so weird to say, but I am so grateful that I am, and it's just the best job ever. I love it so much. This is my first year doing it, by the way, so we will get into that later. School history. I went to school in Australia. I went to a primary school there, and then I went to private school when I was a little bit older and when I moved houses up until the age of 13, and then I went into full-time ballet training at Amanda Bollinger Dance Academy in Australia, and that was where I really went serious and took ballet very seriously and basically decided that this is what I wanted to do for the future and for my career. And then when I was 15, I went to the John Krenko School in Stuttgart, Germany, and up until 17, 18, I trained there, and then now I'm at the Royal Swedish Ballet. That's literally so surreal to say. It makes me so happy. We're not dwelling on that. Moving on. Siblings. I have one older sister, Maylee. She is absolutely beautiful. Shout out to her. I love her so much. These are her socials and everything here. We have a very good relationship, and I think it just gets better as we get older. Hobbies, I would say, include reading, self-care, spending money on clothes and coffee, if that counts, and probably YouTube videos and traveling. Not that I really spend my own money on traveling, but I really enjoy traveling and I've always traveled a lot thanks to my parents. I feel like that kind of covers all of the basic things. Now I'm gonna get into your guys' questions. How are you? I'm actually really good at the moment. I feel possibly the best I've felt in a long time. So yes, thank you so much for checking in and asking. I feel very good and very happy and just overall excited about life. Do you miss living in Australia? This is something I get asked quite often, and overall, no, because I really love my life now and I just like to be very present and just be grateful for what I have now. But I am very grateful as well for my childhood and my life growing up in Australia. Obviously, Australia holds such a special and big place in my heart, and I always, I have so many friends that I can always visit them there, so I know I always have a home there, even if it's not a physical home, but a metaphorical home there. In that case, I do miss the friends from there that I left. I don't want to say that I left, that sounds so bad, but that are still in Australia. And I think I miss the sun, but also the sun is so strong there. I don't think I'm gonna miss it when I'm like 85, because I feel like it's just so extremely strong. But not that I even saw the sun that much, so not so much. If anything, it's more the people and maybe just, my childhood, it was there. But I think no matter where, people miss their childhoods. But overall, I'm very happy in my life right now and all the opportunities that I'm getting. Music of the moment. I have two songs in my head, and when I saw this question, I immediately thought of them. The first one is It Isn't Perfect But It Might Be by Olivia Dean. It isn't perfect but it might be. I am not a singer, oh my gosh. La, 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 la. If you watch the Bridget Jones movie, Mad About the Boy? Yes, the new one that just came out. I watched it with my mum, and that movie is at the end of it with the credit scene, and my sister showed it to me or made me listen to it before I watched the movie, and I am just obsessed with that song. That is on replay at the moment, as well as I think it's called Mutt by Leon Thompson. I'm so sorry, I will put it on the screen, but that song, such a flippin' bop. I love that song, and I've been also playing that on repeat. So I play Olivia Dean, and then I play Leon Thompson, Universe. I play those on repeat, and also anything by them at the moment I am obsessed with. Credit to my sister for Olivia Dean for introducing me to her and her music. She's absolutely amazing and such a good singer. And I saw a TikTok about Leon Thomas, such good songs, just really good vibes. So that is my music of the moment. Where is the sweater you are wearing in this pic from? The pink one. This is not the one I'm talking about. It's this one, the sweater I was wearing in the story where I asked the questions, and that is from Gina Tricot, not sure exactly how to say it, but that's where it's from. I actually got it on Vinted, so I don't know if they sell it anymore, but I know there has to be someone around somewhere, but it's from Gina, and I absolutely love that sweater. Okay, moving on to all of the questions regarding Sweden and anything to do with ballet. Tell us about your dance journey starting from the beginning. Okay, so I kind of already explained how I went to school when I was younger, and then at the age of 13 I started doing full-time training, and that was kind of the pivotal moment of deciding, do I want to go into kind of academic stuff and, I don't know, become like a dentist or a lawyer, or who knows. I didn't even know exactly what I wanted to be at that point, but I know I had the possibility to do that. Or do you want to stop that and like obviously still do school, but do full-time ballet training and really focus on that? And I don't even remember I guess it was just the feeling and the fact that I love ballet so much, and I was and still am so passionate about it. And I think it was just this gut feeling that I knew that was what I wanted to do, and that's what I had to do. So that's when I decided, yes, I'm going to do full-time training, and I really trusted Miss Amanda, my teacher in Australia. So I'm very, very grateful for her and all the help she gave me. I think I kind of already explained this, but yeah, then I went to John Cranko, and then after 2 years of auditioning, I did audition the first year, but I was just turned 17, and I felt like I was too young and definitely not ready to be in a company. So in the end, it was definitely a blessing that I didn't get a job, and I did another year, and that last year was so amazing. I made so many more friends and got so many more opportunities at John Cranko. In the end, actually my last audition that I did was here for the Royal Swedish Ballet, and I ended up getting it, and I was just so over the moon. I heard about it when I was in New York for the YGP Partner Project, I think that's what it was called, or something like that. It was like Partner Schools Project, and we were doing a dance with, oh gosh, I forget, but I know it was Zurich, Princess Grace, John Cranko, and there was one more school from America, and we were all there doing a little project, and I got the email from Royal Swedish Ballet. I literally screamed, and then after I jumped up and I was like, oh my god, and I was telling my friends. And yeah, so that's like a very short rundown of what happened. That's like the overall timeline of what's happened, and now I'm working here and extremely happy to be here. How do you like Stockholm so far in comparison to Stuttgart? I think they're talking about the city in general rather than the companies, and that's what I'm going to talk about. I love both Stuttgart and Stockholm, but I think I did talk about the weather, saying that it is more extreme here and the winters are more extreme, but overall I think I like Stockholm more. Both places are beautiful, but Stockholm is just such a well-rounded city. I think there's so many things to do and so many places to see. I think it's also slightly bigger, or even if it's not, it just feels bigger in general, because Stuttgart was very small, and I feel like it was populated more by families or older people. I could be wrong, don't quote me on that, but I feel like it's very young and there's a lot going on here. There's so much to do here, and I just feel like it's a bit more vibrant, and I just love like the buildings and just the aesthetic of Stockholm in general. And yeah, I see a lot more young people as well. Not that that matters, but it's a point, and it's a nice thing. And yeah, if I think about summer, I really did love Germany in summer, and I haven't experienced that much of summer here, but what I did experience was also really beautiful. So overall, they're both great cities, but I would say Stockholm is my favorite because there's just more to do. I think it's just a bit more of an interesting and vibrant and pretty city as well. I find Germany can be a little bit bland and a bit grey and dull sometimes, whereas here I feel like it's more just colourful in general. Don't get me wrong, I still love Stuttgart and I still think it's beautiful, but I really, really love Stockholm. How did you get into the Royal Swedish Ballet, and how did you decide to go to the Royal Swedish Ballet? As I said, I did the audition here. I think it was in March or maybe April, like the start of April. I can't remember exactly, but yes, I did the audition just like anyone else did. It was a really like intense audition. There was a lot of different rounds that we had to do, and it went until about 3, so it wasn't the longest, but it was like jam-packed all in that start of the day. I said in one of my other videos about auditions, like it was the most organized audition I had done, and I really, really loved that. And because I'm someone who loves just being organized and just having a plan, an itinerary, and knowing exactly what's going to happen, in that sense it was the best audition I did, and that already just gave me such a good feeling about the company. And then I think I can't remember if it was a week later. It was a week later. It was literally almost exactly a week later, or maybe 6 days later. Okay, so it must have been like mid-April. But yes, anyways, really not long after I got the email, and it said I had been accepted accepted, and as I said, I was over the moon. I was so happy, and from the minute that I was at the audition, as I said, it was just so organized. I just had such a good feeling, and I'm so about like gut feelings and just knowing like inherently and in my bones what feels good, and just having this deep feeling of what's right. And I had that here from the minute I got into Stockholm, from the audition, during the audition, until after the audition when I was in the airport. I remember calling my mum and being like, oh my goodness, mum, I just want it so bad. I want to be back in this airport. I want to come back literally here. I want to come back to Stockholm. I want to come back and see all of it. I feel like my journey in Stockholm, I just feel it. Like my intuition, that's the word. My intuition just felt so good about this, and that I just had so much more to explore with this. And lo and behold, I got accepted, and I said yes immediately because, as I said, it just felt so right. And after all the auditions I'd done, this was the best offer in my mind. Like overall, it was the best offer because it was a quarter ballet position, and I had one other quarter ballet or a couple of other quarter ballet contracts, but as I said, this one, it just felt really right, and I really do think I made the right decision. Who knows, like there's so many different pathways, you never know what's going to be right, but right now where I am, everything just kind of worked out perfectly in the end. And obviously it's not the end, there's still so much more for my journey, but overall I'm just so happy with my decision, and I'm really happy where I'm at and with what I'm doing. It was kind of an intuition and a gut feeling, and I also did talk to some ballet teachers about it, and they said you got to go with your heart, and my heart was telling me to go to the Royal Swedish Ballet. What is your daily schedule like at the Royal Swedish Ballet? To be honest, every day is very different, I have to say, but in general, we always have class. It's always an hour and a half, but it can be sometimes an hour depending on if we have shows or stage rehearsals, whatever. So then we generally will just go into rehearsals, more rehearsals throughout the whole day, or stage rehearsal. Like it really varies depending on what we're rehearsing, what needs to be rehearsed, whether it's in the studio, whether it's on stage, whether there's a show. So yeah, basically it's ballet class rehearsals through the whole day, and we will have obviously a lunch break at some point, at least half an hour to 45 minutes, maybe longer depending on what rehearsals we're in that day. Sometimes we finish earlier, and we also work on Saturdays, and we'll sometimes have shows then. This is so confusing, but that's kind of a rough idea of how the schedule works. Favorite role you've danced this season? I think I would have to say, I mean, I've literally done 3 productions this season, but I think out of them, it was Gustavia, Cinderella, and Infra. I really enjoyed them all. Like, they've all been so amazing, but I have to say Cinderella Children was really fun for me, because just getting to pretty much improv on stage was really fun for me, and it was such a good experience, and just getting all of the stage time in general has been so good for me, and being more comfortable and confident on stage. But the Children was just so funny. Every show was different. Every show had a different energy, and it was just such a silly and fun and youthful role to play. So I think I have to say that one. I will insert some pictures. I had this red wig on. It was just so fun, so crazy. So that was probably my favorite so far. But I still have so many ballets to come, I know, and so many productions. I've only done 3, but out of the 3, I think it's that one. What am I looking forward to most next season? As I said, right now I'm really just trying to be present, and I have so much going on at the moment that I'm excited about. But next season, just again, in general, more opportunities. I have no expectations, because auditioning was such a long process, and I have to remind myself to just be grounded and in the moment and be grateful for where I am, because sometimes I get a bit ahead of myself and I'm like, oh, you need to be doing this and you should be here and you're behind and blah blah blah. But then I think a year ago, however many months ago, you were auditioning and you were in such a rough place trying to find a job, and so just being in a company at all, and I know so many people are auditioning right now, so being in a company at all is just such a blessing. And so I'm just loving it. I have no expectations. I'm really loving pretty much every moment, and I have to say, all the people at the Royal Swedish Ballet, I love them so much. They're just from the beginning so welcoming, and I'm really starting to like open up and create closer and better friendships with all of them. I think just in general, just to have more experiences, more conversations, more productions, more dances with everyone, and just experience new things. Obviously there is also a particular ballet that I'm looking forward to next season, but I don't think I can say that right now because I don't think it's published what we're doing next season. But there is so much to look forward to, and I'm just so excited about just everything right now. Just as I said at the beginning, I'm excited about life and very happy. How do you get amazing extensions? I think this is hard because I think it is something that I was born with, but it also comes from hard work. And ever since I was a young dancer, I guess I always just wanted to improve. I wanted to work really, really hard. A lot of the time, especially since I started full-time training quite young, or I mean, for ballet, that's an average age, like 12, 13. I was a lot of the time put with older girls, and I never cared about my age, that I was younger. I just knew that I wanted to be as good as them or better. So I would always strive to be just as good, or have just as high legs, or do just as many turns, or just be as good in general and have as good technique as the older girls, even if I was younger. I think I would always just strive for the best and just work with what I had. I also remember one day my teacher telling me that you can actually do a développé and you can start in the retire and then like kind of hike your knee up. And I was like, that's possible? I think, like, I remember the exact day, and then I was like, and then I kind of lifted my knee and then it kind of kept going. I'm not trying to brag, not at all. And also I was super young, but like my legs did just kind of go higher. I think that's one thing I'm blessed with. Maybe I don't have anything else, but I can do a développé à la seconde, and that is one of my strengths. And you got to work with your strengths and what you have. So for me, I know extensions and like adage I really enjoy, and it's something I think I'm strong at and my body can do. So I do think it's in a way something I was born with, something I really just continued to work hard for. But also stretching and strengthening, those are really important. Mostly strengthening for me because I'm quite flexible and loose ever since I was young. So keeping the strength to be able to hold those extensions is very important. So I feel like I could talk about this a lot, but I will probably try and do a separate video. I've always been asked about that, so I really should do that video. Let me know if you want to see that. Comment that down below. Maybe I can do some like tips and tricks for extensions. What has been your biggest struggle when it comes to improving in dance? I would say, going back to that strengthening thing, I've always been quite a flexible dancer. I think ballet, obviously you need to be flexible, but it's so much more about strength and endurance than people realize. In the end, we are athletes. I believe that. I don't care what anyone else says. We are athletes. We do have to work really hard. Oh, my feet are going numb. Ow, my ankle. I think just finding that balance between staying flexible and stretching and doing yoga and all these things, but also strengthening and doing Pilates and workout classes or just my own workouts. I think that's always been a struggle for me. It's trying to find that perfect balance. Right now, the physios are really being very helpful and helping me with that. So I'm very grateful for that. That's what I've been working on. And also just, especially in company, keeping myself accountable. I'm really the only one that can push myself now. I don't have teachers there to push me and tell me to work hard. It's really all up to me. So sometimes the motivation and keeping up that consistency can be really hard. Overall, I would say that, and just not being harsh on myself. Like, those three things are probably the biggest things, but my camera is running out, so I'm gonna speed through these. What workouts do you do besides ballet? I love to do yoga, Pilates, strength training, cardio training. I will do so many different things, and it varies a lot depending on how many rehearsals we have, how tired I am. I really try and listen to my body at the moment and how I feel, but I generally do try and fit in a bunch of different exercises. I feel like I could do a whole different video about that, but my favorite is definitely anything Pilates based and a lot of like strength training, I would say, and I'm trying to add more weights into my workout routines. Have you ever thought about doing something different than ballet? I said before there was the possibility that I could do something else. I think when I was younger, I said I wanted to be a marine biologist. I think that was just put into my mind by my parents, and I think then at some point I said I wanted to be a dentist. Those were just kind of really random, rough ideas, but overall I think dance has been the main thing on my mind, and there's other careers that can stem from dance. Also, ballet and dancing in general can be quite a short career, so I feel like definitely it could lead into something else, whether it's teaching, whether it's, teaching, that feels like the only option, but there are so many more options. So overall, dance was the main thing I thought about that I wanted to be. I never thought I actually would become a professional dancer, and I'm only 1 year in, and as I said, it still feels crazy to say, but that was the main idea. But I did have possible thoughts of other things that I could be, and I think I was never tied down, or I was never really stuck on one thing, apart from obviously ballet, saying that I did want to become a ballerina. That was kind of a dream in the back of my mind, but I was never, I think I was always pretty open of where things would take me, and not saying anything too specific. But I know those were a couple of things I did think about when I was younger, but we say a bunch of things when we're younger. In saying that, I still am very interested in doing other other things, maybe taking a couple of courses in Pilates or nutrition, and in a way that does stem back to dance, and it can be related to ballet and help with ballet, but they are also different things, and I do still want to explore other things, but right now I'm just happy to settle in my job doing this, enjoying life and living life as a ballet dancer. Last question, how tall are you as a ballet dancer and does it affect your dancing? I am 164 centimeters. I definitely don't think it affects my dancing because, you know, everyone is different as people and as dancers as well. Obviously, your height can change how you dance, and sometimes people say taller people are better or smaller people are better. I think there's just so many diverse bodies and people out there and dancers out there, so many beautiful dancers, tall and small. So I don't think it affects my dancing. It's what I'm used to, my body. But I think it can slightly affect what companies you get into. But the good thing is some companies want shorter, some companies want taller, some companies have a variety. In Sweden, I would say there's quite a variety. We have very short people, we have very tall people, and I really love that it's very diverse here. I would say I'm quite a mid-height. I'm not small anymore. I always used to be the smallest in my class. I'm like a very mid-height now, which I like to say that now. Like, that makes me so happy because I'm so used to being the short one. But otherwise, no, it doesn't really affect my dancing overall. Okay, my camera's gonna die again, and I have answered all of the questions. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Hopefully you got to know me and about my journey a little bit more. I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.